In this section, we'll take a closer look at the Monthly Budget tab. The purchase of the Annual Dashboard package gives you access to all 12 months, starting from the month of your choice. We'll begin by reviewing the different sections of the tab, then move on to planning our budget. At the top, you'll see the month and year, which can be adjusted in all versions. To the right, you'll find summaries of your total income, total expenses, and remaining funds. Below, the charts will automatically populate as we start filling out our budget. We'll see this in action shortly. This area contains the income table, bills, expenses, debt, subscriptions, and savings tables. The cash flow table below automatically updates as we enter our budget information, giving you an overview of your planned versus actual spending and earnings in each category. This table also includes a starting balance field, which you'll need to enter manually. Further down, you'll find an allocation overview for your needs, hobbies, savings, and liabilities. Below that is the financial overview table, where you can track your spending habits over a specific date range. Here you'll also find the bank accounts table and the bank accounts transfers table. Beneath the bank accounts transfers table is your daily spending report. And next to this section is the transaction journal, where you'll record your transactions. Finally, the high spending overview table includes a graph showing your top 5 expenses for the month. Now that we've gone over all the sections of the sheet, let's start planning our budget. First, enter your current account information. Scroll down to find the bank accounts table and input the initial balance for each account. Here we'll add the current balance for our HSBC account, and here we'll do the same for our Bank of America account. Notice the table below for bank accounts transfers. This allows you to move funds between accounts during the month. To transfer cash to our HSBC account, we'll enter the date, select a cash transfer to our HSBC account, and then input the amount you wish to transfer. Observe how the HSBC account balance increases while the Bank of America balance decreases. Next, let's scroll up and work on our income table. We'll enter Salary 1 here, along with the pay date and the planned amount. The actual field will automatically update once we input this in the transaction journal. Let's add another income source by entering the date and the planned amount. We don't have any rollover to account for, but if you did, you would enter it in the cash flow table here. Now, let's plan our bills for the month. We'll start with rent. Enter the due date for the rent. Suppose our rent costs $600. We'll categorize this as a need since housing is essential. We'll also add a water bill with a due date and a planned amount of $150. Assigning it as a need. Moving on to expenses, we'll add groceries to the list, planning to spend $200 and categorizing this as a need. Next, we'll add other grocery expenses, planning to spend $300, but this time we'll categorize it as a hobby. Lastly, we'll enter a debt payment for our car loan of $350, categorized as debt. You'll continue this process for all your income, bills, expenses, debt, subscriptions, and savings. Notice that at the top, our graphs begin to auto-populate as we input more data. Now that we've added some income and planned a few expenses, let's go to the transaction journal. First, enter the transaction date, then select the transaction type. In this case, we'll choose rent. You'll see that the category is automatically assigned as bills. Next, enter the amount, say $500, and specify which account it's being deposited into. In the type field, categorize it as need, hobby, savings, or debt. Let's add another entry, this time for groceries. Enter the purchase date, the amount, let's say $500, and the account used for the expense. Then, we'll add a car loan payment, entering the date and the amount, let's say $350, and the account used. Now that we've entered some data, let's review our dashboards. Scrolling up, you'll see an overview of your expenses next to the cash flow summary graph, which shows your planned budget for each category versus your actual earnings and spending. Notice that our planned amount for groceries was $200, but we actually spent $500. The table will display the difference between your planned and actual amounts. From there, you can see your needs and hobbies, showing your planned versus actual spending. The monthly balance summary chart provides an overview of your balance for the month. Finally, if you scroll over, you'll see the graph for the top 5 expenses begin to populate as you enter more data into your transaction journal. This will continue to adjust and update. This concludes our review of the monthly tab. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out. Enjoy managing your finances.